Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Horse Races Now podcast. Kenny, I assume you're still in Saratoga?
I'm back in Saratoga.
I shouldn't say still. Back in Saratoga, because you just got back from France.
Saratoga. We went from Japan to Saratoga, went to France for a sale.
That's right.
Now I'm back in Saratoga. Been back here but not even 48 hours.
Awesome. All right, so we got to start there, Kenny. How was the French sale?
It was great. This is a trip that I have taken. I think this is the fourth time that I've attended this auction.
Okay.
The Arcana sale in Deauville. It's hosted by the Arcana team. Just does a fantastic job. They supplied a private plane from Saratoga to Deauville. I had a couple of clients that took me up on the trip. Lance Gasaway and BJ, his better half, went, and then also Mike and Michelle Payne, some people that have just started into the game.
Awesome.
And we rented a house over there and had a fantastic time. But look, it's a work play trip for me.
Sure.
You get off the plane. They supplied a plane that had about 30, 40 seats empty on it. And
wow.
Every year I invite everybody that I train for to go on this trip. We get off the plane and we go straight to work. The Arcana sale, which is, I'm going to hold the book up here, is a 307 horses they sold.
Okay.
And we purchased 3 fillies for a couple of different clients.
Nice.
Shell Anderson from Zurich bought 1 filly, and then Rob and Diane Hutcherson bought 2 fillies.
Okay. All right, Rob.
So it was a good trip.
Yeah.
Good trip. I got outbid on a couple, but that's okay. And I went to the races over there. Where we stayed is really interesting because for those that know Deauville, it's a walking town. And for those that don't, it's an easy walking town. You get when you're in Deauville, actually where we were staying, we were maybe 4 blocks to the beach.
Okay.
We were 2 blocks to the racetrack and then 5 blocks to the sales company.
Nice.
And when I say blocks, short blocks.
Yeah.
And it's just a unique little town. I believe it's a sister city to Lexington.
Awesome.
But I might be wrong on that. But Deauville is a definitely horse-centered town. That you've got polo there. You have dressage. They have Deauville Racecourse, which is a right-handed racetrack, opposite direction that we run here. And went to the races 2 days. And it was a good trip. They really do a really good job. It's something that everybody, I think, if you love thoroughbred racing, you get a chance to go to Deauville, go during August, certainly go during racing season. And if you can go during the sales, it's even more exciting.
How do the horses stack up, Kenny? Are they pretty good?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I bought 8 horses prior to this sale, 3 stakes-winning fillies.
Oh, okay.
And so we've had some success over there. But I don't look at the horses any differently than I do the American-made horses. And the pedigrees are a little bit of for some people, they would be a bit of a head-scratcher because you don't know the lines as well. But here's an interesting fact.
Okay.
Did you know that practically every thoroughbred running in North America right now descends from a French horse?
Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? I mean, obviously that makes sense.
No, well, not necessarily. I mean, so a horse named Mahmoud was bred by the Aga Khan. He was bred in France. Mahmoud exists in the pedigree of Northern Dancer. Mahmoud is he won the English Derby as a 3-year-old for the Aga Khan. And then the Aga Khan didn't think that he was going to be good enough stallion in France, and they exported him or imported him here to the United States. And he fantastic broodmare sire, and comes through on the bottom line on most all female families. But Northern Dancer in particular, his influence through Mumtaz Mahal, which was basically a blue hen broodmare.
Right.
But, and of course, Northern Dancers on the sire lines of Into Mischief. You could go on and on. But yeah, so the French horse does have a big influence. And there's a lot more French families that are out there that are still in the American thoroughbred.
How about the price tags, Kenny? Are they comparable? Because I know Japan was high. Are they comparable to U.S.?
Well, the sale toppers were equally as high as the Japanese sale, but the middle and the lower part of the market was what I'd call very reasonable.
Okay.
And as long as you weren't bidding um, against Sheikh Mohammed or Godolphin,
Yeah.
or Coolmore in the gang there, the Magners, then you had a realistic chance to buy a horse.
Okay.
So we looked for soft spots in the market. Out of 300, obviously they can't buy them all, but we found some value there, and I was really pleased with what we got.
That's awesome. That's super cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit of Mystic Dan. Obviously, we've moved to the turf here. How's that been going?
Well, we gave him a run on the turf. I felt like it was something we needed to try. He ran a respectable race in the Arlington Million, a race that is certainly a high level race, but it didn't look like the group that was in there. None of them had won a Grade 1 before that day.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he was the only Grade 1 winner in the race, and it looked like at the head of the lane he was gonna actually win, and then he hung a little bit, and I might take the bullet on that one. I would have liked to have worked him one more time on the turf. But it was a respectable race. He gets speed a couple 3 lengths, and I think that experiment's probably over. I'm not going to say that he couldn't win a significant turf race somewhere, but he is going to shift back to the dirt, and we're going to concentrate on pointing him towards the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And right now, he's already back at Churchill Downs,
Okay.
and we are going to probably point him towards a September 27th start at Churchill, either the ACAC or a race called the Lucas Classic. So we'll go back to dirt, which is easy enough to shift him back to, and he's a good order, and it's still going to be an exciting fall for him.
We had a couple comments talking about that, thinking that if Mystic Dan were to get another couple opportunities on the turf, it maybe could have a favorable outcome there. Do you agree? Disagree? What's behind the move to go right back to dirt?
No, he definitely could and would win races on the turf given the opportunity. The problem with it is the timing of it all. There is a race in early September called the I guess it's the Mint. I can't remember the name of the race at Kentucky Downs. There's $2.5 million going a flat mile on the grass.
Oh, wow.
The problem with that race is the timing. If I'm going to come back in 3 weeks back to the dirt, then I've got to train him of turf and then shift him back in 3 weeks, which is for me not really enough time. So we're going to opt out of the Kentucky Downs September 6th race, and I think the prudent thing to do or smart thing would be to go to the ACAC or the Lucas Classic and then Breeders' Cup Mile. Now, if he were to win the Lucas Classic impressively or something, then maybe we would contemplate the Breeders' Cup Classic. But really, as a stallion, maybe a dirt mile might make him a little bit more attractive.
Got it.
But as you all out there know, I'm not scared to experiment.
Yep.
I mean, you need to try things to try to. I mean, none of this is black and white. It's all gray. Making a turf try, I thought was worth the effort. He made some money going over there. It wasn't like he ran horrible.
Right.
And then it's easy enough to come back and forth. So. We're still quite proud of him, and we will give him an opportunity to win a Breeders' Cup race this fall.
And so Mystic Dan's in pretty good form at the moment.
He's doing super. Yeah, I think he's got a couple of good races in before the end of the year, and we'll see what we think we should do after that.
Speaking of good form, Thorpedo Anna had a public showing. Maybe it was yesterday morning. I saw a video of her. I guess you guys were walking her around the paddock there at Saratoga. Let's talk about Thorpedo Anna. How does she stand?
Well, I've been really pleased with the way she looked. Me coming back from my trip, I entrusted my staff while I was out of the country on following through with the work schedule, and I gave directions that I wanted her to go what I call a happy half mile. 48 was a good number, and she worked 48 and 1 last weekend, and then that sets her up for for the Breeders' Cup for the Personal Ensign tomorrow. And so it's a very exciting weekend. I mean, she's going to get a chance to get some, I guess you could call it revenge over the La Troyenne race.
Right.
And I like the outside draw. The seven draw is a really good spot for her again. And that way Brian can keep her in the clear. But it's it's been a continual honor to be around her. She continues to just show great energy, and she's just a really special mare. Now, for those that don't know, 50% interest has changed hands.
Oh.
And so Brookdale made a decision to sell their share, and I'm going to unveil the new silk for Thorpedo Anna.
Nice.
Will be the Hillendale silk.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yep. So she'll be running in these colors this weekend for the first time. And John Sakura is probably one of the most savvy horsemen, businessmen in American racing. And I'm glad that John and his group have acquired her from Brookdale. 50% of her doesn't change. Mark Edwards continues to retain his share. Judy Hicks continues to retain her share. And then Magdalena Racing still has 10% of the filly. So half the partnership changed, and Brookdale needed to raise some cash for some details, and it's a hopefully going to be a continued good story, just in a different set of colors.
Is that number
black cap, green,
and
black sleeves?
Breaking news here on Horse Races Now. Is that number public, Kenny, or is that an undisclosed number?
Yeah, it's undisclosed. That's obviously between them, and I think it was a complicated deal how they put it together.
It had to have been substantial, I would think. I mean, that's
it's quite a happy number. Let's put it that way. But the other half of the partnership really wanted to stay put. I wanted to stay put. We actually contemplated raising enough money to buy Brookdale's piece, but it works out better with John. John ultimately, the idea is to keep her, possibly breed her, possibly sell her. I think a lot of things are wide open on that obviously we can contribute to those decisions. But more than anything, I mean, she's just magical to be around. And one other thing, Marshawn Lynch is part of the partnership group that.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
the other
that.
half. Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks.
Running back
or retired running back. And I met him briefly.
He's an interesting guy.
He's on for the ride, and so that's pretty cool stuff.
That is really cool. Marshawn's an interesting dude. I had no idea he was in the horse racing game. That's really cool.
Yeah, I met him at the sale. He was at the Yearling sales. I briefly met him and a business partner of his, and I'm bigger than him. You know that?
He's not that big. I bet he's a little faster.
He's a bull, yeah.
All right, Kenny, we have a few questions here before we get you out. And again, to our listeners, thank you so much for sending your questions. You guys help make this show what it is. So continue to please send these in. And as you guys know, Kenny's an open book. So send them and we'll answer the questions. Question for Kenny. Are there any horses that you had bid on at a sale but didn't end up with, and they turned out to be a star horse? Somebody just really burns you that you really tried to get and couldn't get?
Nyquist.
Okay.
I was the underbidder on Nyquist. I bid on a horse named Brother Derek years back. I'm sure there's plenty of other ones. I tend to focus in on the ones that I bought, of course. But those two off the top of my head.
Got it.
Nyquist, I had a circle and I think I had 3 stars next to his name when I marked my catalog. But he was obviously a fantastic horse. But I don't know, beyond that, I can't think of any others. I had a filly by Cross Traffic that won the Kentucky Oaks for John Service that DJ Stable had. Anyway, I'm drawing a blank on her name. And I told John after he outbid me, I said, if you can't win with this one, you're no good, man.
That's funny. All right, a couple more sales questions here. When you're buying at a sale, do they let you know if the horse had corrective surgery on their legs as a foal?
Yes, you can look up the surgery reports typically on that. Although I can't tell you that I would let that stop a deal. Curlin had corrective surgery.
Okay.
There's plenty of horses nowadays that they have corrective surgeries. Those corrective surgeries are meant to make the horse better, and sometimes in the womb, the way that they get in the womb sometimes causes their legs to come out incorrect, and to be able to straighten them out, I think is marvelous. I mean, I think that the veterinarians that do that work are pretty amazing, but you definitely don't let it stop a purchase.
Got it. So you don't think that could affect a horse long term then?
No, no.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it helps the horse.
Awesome.
We do at Magdalena. We do regular exams. Rolf Emberton is very um, a part of our team. When Alan Shell, when they foal at Magdalena, Alan and Rolf, and they'll analyze that horse's gait, how they're moving, and it's not unusual for Rolf to recommend some correction here or there. You want a horse that when they move through themselves, they move through themselves efficiently, and if they start to the growth plates start to move the wrong direction, you can adjust that, and really, it's it's really amazing the work that they can do.
All right. Few more here. You touched a bit on the labor involved in your business, and I know the payroll is substantial. How many people are required per horse? Just the people who are hands-on, not talking admin or office staff. And also, are the horses monitored 24 hours a day?
Yes, we have for every 2 horses we have 1 person. Might be that's plus or minus. I mean, you typically keep a groom for every 4, a hot walker for every 5, an exercise rider for every 7 or 8, depending on how many you got to go every day. Sometimes more or less horses for riders, but yeah, that's a constant. And we do utilize the H-2B visas and H-2A visas, which are complicated. I do think that horse racing needs to address the movement of those, or how those visas are utilized, because our industry is such a north and south, where we migrate from Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas, Kentucky, New York.
Yep.
It's complicated. The H-2As, you can't move those people, and then the H-2Bs are a little bit more difficult to deal with. But we've got a legal team that does that, and staff wise, I've got some fantastic people that help us. And the 24 hours a day, yes, pretty much every division has a night person that feeds breakfast, so that's always good. And if the horse is not eating, then they do temps and draw bloods and things like that. Yes.
But those horses typically like that hallway feed, correct?
Yes, we utilize hallway feed on all bases. I've got whether it's the farms or the track, we feed hallway.
Little plug for Hallway there, one of our podcast sponsors.
It's not a job, it's a way of life. We know. At Hallway Feeds, we've worked for generations to advance equine nutrition, because watching them at their peak is like nothing else. With Hallway Feeds, the race is in the bag.
Okay, last question here. What's the race prep routine or pattern you found that gives you the most success? For example, do you start with a sprint, then build stamina with longer works before stretching and cutting back? Every horse is different, but where have you found the most success?
Yeah, I really like the 7/8 of a mile preference, but it's not always an option. And it really depends on how a horse is made. Now, I tend to buy a horse with a long hind leg. And when I say that, the angles of the point of the hip, through the hindquarters and the stifle, and the angles of even the gaskin and down to the hock, and angles of the pasterns. So I buy a horse with a lot of depth to the hind leg, which gives them a propensity to want to run longer. And so when I sprint a horse, they typically come from off the pace because they've got to turn that hip over, and then they'll come finishing hard and fast. One of the reasons why I have such an affinity to Brian Hernandez is he's very good about asking a horse away, settling, and getting and balancing that horse out a little bit, and then finishing, and then going on out and rolling on out. So when we run a young horse, even if it's going 6 furlongs, we actually play the race like they're going to go on a mile. And so after the wire, the instructions would let this horse roll on out, let it think that it won. Even if it didn't finish first to the finish line, finish first to the next quarter of a mile.
Interesting.
And so you teach a horse to pass everybody. And so whether you do it 6 furlongs first time out, 7 furlongs, even a 1 mile dirt race is fine. But ultimately, you're trying to teach a horse to go a mile and a 16th, because I think that's where the better races are, the better money.
Okay.
And then I'll leave it with the old saying: the longer they run, the longer they run. So the longer the race, the slower the pace fractions are of the race, the sounder a horse stays over the course of its career. So when you run a horse 6 furlongs, if you really press that first quarter of a mile, half mile, those fractions are really hard on a horse's bones, and the chances of that horse getting injured rise, if you ask me. And I really prefer horses that run what you call 12s, 12-second eighths of a mile. So if you taught a horse to run 10 furlongs, 12 seconds, or 12 seconds for 10 straight furlongs,
right,
you would win the Kentucky Derby practically every year.
Yeah.
Now, you don't need to go 10-1. You don't need to go 9 and change. That's why I don't like 2-year-old sales, because it's all about pace, and it's all about being steady and then utilizing that finish for the last quarter of a mile. And a horse has to have that turn of foot the last quarter of a mile to be a successful racehorse. So regress a little bit on this conversation. I had a filly years ago named Eskimo Kisses.
Oh, yeah.
I bought her at an auction. Her vet exams said she had what they call lipping in her knees, which is where the joints go together. And when the knee joints go together, the lipping means that there's the bone protrudes a little bit, which means that horse would have a tendency to flake those off.
Yep.
And so when the joint, the lipping is a concern, because if you sprint that horse, you really increase the risk of those knee joints breaking off.
Okay.
Because the faster they go, the more they extend the knee. The more they extend the knee, the more chance that those ridges are affected. So in her case, and we did a deal with Gainesway. It's one of my favorite fillies, because I think we managed her really well. And she wasn't 6 furlong fast, but she could run all day.
Right.
And for her first race, she was third. It came running, and then she had a really good winter at Oaklawn, but never ran her shorter than a mile and a 16th in her whole life. And she came up here and won the Alabama at a mile and a quarter, grade 1. And, it was one of those that was just a little different. She was never going to even get close going 6 furlongs or even 7.
Interesting.
But because we took her a mile, and then her knees never bothered her whole career. Never at any point in time. But we never let her do anything but 12-second eighths. Like these 2-year-old training sales where they're working horses and they're going 9 and 4 and 10 flat. There could be a lot of damage done doing that. And I'm a 12s trainer. I like my horses running 12-second eighths, and then when they need the turn of foot, they come on and they utilize it. So it's a bit artistic on how trainers handle it. That's worked for me. I'm not known as a speed trainer. I'm not known as a first-time starter, although I think of 5 first-time starters this year already.
Yeah.
To have won, but we know how to do it. But we try to be real patient in that first half mile and then finish fast.
Okay, that was a master class right there. Pretty awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Kenny, anything else before we get out of here?
I'm tired.
I
I've been
bet.
traveling too much.
Your frequent flyer miles are out the roof right now.
I know. I'm here in Saratoga for a couple of weeks now. I'll be here through Labor Day. And then, Annie's in school at home, and I think her and Sherry came back from France with COVID.
Oh.
And then we've got the Keeneland September sale coming up after that starts on the 8th of September and lasts to the 20th.
Ooh.
That's the marathon sale.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm probably I think I've got a week, and then I'm probably going to go to the golf sale in Ireland.
Nice. Back across the pond.
Yeah. And then we come back for the opening weekend to Keeneland.
Right.
Then I may go back over again to the Tattersall sale.
Yeah.
Which is, let's see, I want to say it's the 7th, 8th, and 9th of October, and then comes back again. There's 2 sessions, book 1 and then book 2. I prefer book 2 because I usually don't have book 1 money.
Right.
I'm going to do that, and then we come back to Fasig-Tipton, one of our sponsors. I'll work the Fasig-Tipton October sale. That's where Thorpedo Anna came from.
Yeah.
Long list of others. That sale finishes the season, and then I could breathe a little bit after that and concentrate on just the stable. So this time of year, I'm basically doing the recruiting or the sales season.
Yeah.
And I'm worrying about stables. And then last thing I want to mention. So the 3 horses that we bought in France are being exported from France to Newmarket in England. And so they're going to train in England for probably anywhere from 90 days to 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
And I'll probably get to see those on one or both of the trips back over there. And then they'll be exported into the US. We're learning about the tariffs and things like that, but they'll be exported back into the US sometime later in the year, possibly even as long as next spring. So that's
Do you have people with them right now?
Well, they're going to go to a group that I've not worked with, Richard Morgan Evans.
Okay.
Do I have that right? Richard Evans Morgan. But someone I haven't worked with yet, but they look like they've got a beautiful facility, and we're going to try to leave some of them over there. And then if I buy anything at Golf's or at Tattersall's, we'll probably get those horses to them over there in England. And Newmarket's just a wonderful town. It's another similar to Deauville.
Yeah.
It's not a walking town, but it's another great place, the center of English horse racing.
Love it. All right, man. Well, get some rest. Sounds like you got a lot going on there.
Well, I got one in the stake later today, and then Thorpedo Anna's in tomorrow, and we've got some horses getting ready to fire off. I think y'all, if you want to bet a few dollars, bet on Farrell.
Farrell.
Feral. His horse is doing super, and I think he's going to fire a big shot in his first race going long. And then everybody say hello to Sonny. Sonny, get over here. Come on. Come here. Somebody's at the door. All right, come on.
Kenny, when does Farrell run? Oh, hi, Sonny.
There's the big dog. Farrell runs tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, perfect. We'll make sure everybody knows. I have a feeling a few dollars will be placed on him after watching this.
Yeah, well. All right.
Thanks, Kenny.
All right.
See you at the races.
See you at the races.
Horse Races Now, the app to follow horse racing at over 1,200 tracks worldwide. View entries and results. Get notifications on your favorite horses, jockeys, trainers, racetracks, and owners. Users set up and revise notifications like live video at the gate, call to post, entries, results replays, etc.